These vaccine mandates, they're blowing up spectacularly in their face. But you have to start to ask yourself, like, are they doing this on purpose? They had to know that our heroic healthcare workers and police officers who worked throughout the pandemic, they're not getting rich off this, despite the fact that in the early days of the pandemic, they had no idea, ladies and gentlemen, were people going to die? What was the fatality rate of this thing? They had no idea, and they went to work anyway because that's who they are. Now that many of them have natural immunity from infections, they're pushing a vaccine mandate, a blanket mandate on everyone, people in law enforcement, healthcare workers. And the result of it is this. Look at this CBS Boston story. Massachusetts state troopers are leaving the job. You have to ask yourself, again, was this intentional? Dozens of Massachusetts state police troopers resigning over COVID vaccine mandate, union says. You telling me you didn't know? No, I'm asking a serious question to the leftists out there who want to, I don't see nothing, I don't hear nothing, I don't know nothing. To Sergeant Schultz, right? You telling me you didn't know? Every one of these unions representing police officers and healthcare workers warned you. You saw protests in the street that they would leave, and you did it anyway, which asks a very obvious question. Don't play stupid. Don't play dumb. If you knew it and you did it anyway, did you not care? Or did you just do it because you gave the double-barreled middle finger, family-friendly version, and said, you know what? If we get a few cops who leave, who really cares? We'll keep the obedient ones behind. Is that why you did it? You may say, well, Dan, that's just Massachusetts. Well, you'd be wrong. Here's a report out of the San Diego Tribune. Many San Diego Police Department officers say they'd rather quit than comply with the vaccine mandate. So to the liberals out there, again, running many of these places, San Diego, is kind of 50-50. It's a little more one of the less partisan places in California, although still a lot of Democrats, obviously. You've been warned. Police department officers say they're going to leave if you instill this vaccine mandate that's totally unscientific, and yet you do it anyway, which again begs the appropriate question. Are you doing it on purpose to get rid of the people you don't think are obedient enough? If it's not a fair question to ask, then you can go pound sand because you don't know the definition of fair. You've been warned and you're doing it anyway. Going back to the initial question we started the show with. You guys trying to destroy the country? This doesn't seem to be an accident anymore. Here's a video by Dr. Marty Makary, a guy who's been on my radio show often. We'll get him back. He's been terrific. Johns Hopkins trained medical doctor, very smart, intelligent guy. Works over at Fox News where I work. Very smart guy. He was on Fox yesterday. And again, you have to ask yourself, it keeps coming up, folks. If the vaccine mandate was exclusively designed for public health, despite the warnings that public health might get worse because cops and healthcare workers would quit when you did it and you did it anyway, what's the question? Sorry, I don't mean, but what's the question you're obviously asking is, well, then clearly it wasn't for public health, and public health was going to get worse and the left knew it, correct? Well, what if I told you, no, the other reason was to incentivize people to get the vaccine? Well, what if I told you that the incentive to get the vaccine backfired and less people now are interested in that? You'd have to ask yourself again for what the fifth time during the show, what was the real purpose of this vaccine mandate if it's not for public health and not to get more people to get the vaccine? Here, check this out, Dr. Marty Makary.
Biden getting his COVID booster shot today. He continues to call this the pandemic of the unvaccinated. Does that help his cause, the goal of getting more people who are hesitant to take the jab?
It's a mischaracterization, and it's inaccurate, and it's scientifically imprecise. And if we really want to do everything we can to reduce the avoidable harm, that is, the people dying today are adults with no natural immunity and no vaccine. That's where we need to focus our efforts right now. If you look at the blanket and indiscriminate vaccine mandates that came from the White House, after they were announced, vaccination rates on a daily basis have gone down 20%. That is, we were doing about 810,000 a day, and now we're down to about 650,000 a day. That's because it hardened people who see the overreach of government. Those are the people we want to encourage to get vaccinated, not alienate.
It's weird when you throw actual numbers out there, how the leftists, again, they start foaming, the foaming at the mouth, the screaming at the sky, the pink hats come out, the clawing at the faces, because facts and data always seem to get in the way of their really stupid, dopey arguments every single time. Every time. Vaccination rates have gone down. Healthcare workers, police officers, frontline workers, first responders have warned you that the mandates are going to backfire and they're going to leave. So clearly this had nothing to do with public health or getting more people vaccines. So ask yourself again, don't be constrained by the box the leftist media a-holes put you in. You have to ask yourself candidly, if the purpose wasn't public health, then what was the purpose? Soften you up. Get ready for the big government coming down the road. Soften you up with mandate body blows. Get rid of those non-obedient types. Nothing more patriotic than asking questions. We'll continue to ask them here.